Hey everyone. All right, so today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Anna.
Yes.
We wanted to, you guys have seen Anna before on my show. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the market, what's going on exactly in real estate, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an overview about, Anna and her business. So you work in Skyline. You've been in real estate for a long time, right?
Yes,
So primarily,
for 10 years, over 10
there we
years,
go.
and
So
in different states too.
there we go. So you're well diverse in the market. Where do you work, Washington State? As of right now, like where's your primary business?
Mostly King County,
Okay.
some Pierce County,
Okay.
right? So mostly, of course, it's Sammamish, Redmond, Bellevue. I live myself in Redmond, so Kirkland area.
East side.
East side, yeah.
Beautiful.
My favorite East side.
Yeah. East side's
Why
gorgeous.
not?
Yeah, East side's fantastic. So you work out at the East side. You do a lot of real estate. Talk to me about. I just want to dive right in, right, when it comes to real estate. Let's talk a little bit about this year, and then we'll talk about last year. So there's a lot of changes in mortgage, there's a lot of changes in real estate, guidelines, regulations, new rules in real estate that came in 2024. A lot of real estate agents were like, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy, this is going to be tough. Not really, right?
About the new rules.
Yeah, about the new rules. Talk to me about 2024, what you've seen happen so far in the market, and what you think is going to happen as we move along the year.
I think a lot of good changes happened already.
Okay.
As last a few weeks of 23, and of course January 2024, because rates went down, and we have a lot of buyers activities. So with last year rates been 8%.
Yep.
Which is actually average in America. For the last 30, 40 years, actually, we consider it's very high, but it was average American rates, like 8%. Yeah. So, but everybody, of course, was scared because we got used to this COVID crisis, 3%, 4% mortgage rate. So people was waiting on the sideline, all buyers was waiting, and nobody wants to buy at such a high rate, right? Because your mortgage monthly payment almost double compare what it would be before 2023. Yeah. But as mortgage rate went down, a lot of activities. And I have my open house in Kirkland. I have more than 50 people come in, more than 6 offers right away, And if you go to new construction, there's nowhere to park, all parking lots are taken. Yeah. For open house, and all actually brand new construction. I went recently to Renton area, Kent area. We said we were thinking we would sell 8 houses in a month. We sold already 13. We have 2 left. So this is how active buyers right now. Yeah. So don't wait if it's gonna go anything lower. If it's rate gonna be lower than 6.5 right now, you can refinance. Yeah. But all new construction flying over market, and resale. Like yesterday, the house in Bellevue was booked 100 appointments for 2 days.
Wow.
So this is how active market.
So we have a supply. Sounds like we have a supply and demand issue. Common issue in Washington State.
As always, we have low supply.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation for sellers. Don't wait until May or April. Yeah. Where maybe in April you're gonna have 3 your neighbors listing the house. If you list right now this month, as soon as you're ready, you're gonna have less competition and a lot of hungry buyers who was waiting last year and was not decisive enough or brave enough. But if you list, you're going to be probably only 1 house in 3 miles area, so you're going to have multiple offers. And actually last week we went to see houses, Newcastle, Bellevue area on Thursday, and before Saturday we went pending.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and we are talking about 1 million plus, right? It's not cheap areas.
Yeah.
So I have a feel like there are a lot of people who has at least 1 million in the cash, so they can jump on these houses, 1.3, 1.4, not a question for them. Yeah.
And I think a lot of buyers too, right? So on the buyer side, a lot of people are waiting for rates to come down, which sounds like a logical thing to do. Now, what I saw and you saw back in 2020 and 2021, when rates came down, you would see on average 20 to 30 offers per house. So as a buyer, you would go in and you'd have to sign what's called, at least in Washington State, you have to sign what's called a 22 AD, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain what a 2280 is?
So it was crazy. It was not normal.
No,
right?
it was
so
not.
People have to waive everything.
Yep.
Waive inspection, waive appraisal contingency, waive financing contingency, give 300,000 as a earnest money versus normal 3% earnest money. And we have escalations, 300,000, 500,000 escalation. So I wouldn't wait right now, you know. Like I invest in myself to in real estate, right? It's very good time even. I want rates be maybe 7% so I can buy with discount and then refinance later, right?
Absolutely. And for those of you that don't know a little bit about the real estate world or terminology, so when Anna says waive everything contingency, so what a contingency is when you put an offer on a contract, your realtor, or at least a good realtor, is going to say, hey, look, these are contingencies. These are things on a contract that protect your earnest money and that give you the ability to back out of a contract. When you put an offer on a house, oftentimes you have to put sometimes 1%, 3%, right, depending on the market. The value of that home, 1% to 3%. Let's use basic numbers, $500,000. You put, $5,000 to $15,000 as earnest money that goes towards your down payment or closing costs. As kind of think of it as like a promise that, hey, look, here's a little bit of capital, here's a little bit of money, we're going to buy our home, but we have these contingencies. We have these
conditions,
contingencies,
under which we can still back out.
We can leave the contract just if they don't meet these.
And not to lose earnest money.
And we get to take our earnest money back. Correct.
Yeah.
Now, in 2020 and 2021, Anna says we had to waive everything.
You have to remove all these conditions and buy as is, eyes closed.
So you don't know if there is mold in the attic or if there are, rodents underneath the home. You don't know. You can't, you can do an inspection, but it doesn't really matter because, and often I've seen some sellers that were like, hey, I don't want you to do an inspection. Buy as is. I have 13 other offers. So you would literally have to buy this home with your eyes closed, which is a huge risk, but people would do it because the rates were low. And it's not just regular home buyers. It was also a lot of investors. A lot of investors would dive in and go, oh my goodness, I want to capitalize on this free money. And they would buy these homes. So that's a really, really big factor versus today. It's different. Now, a lot of people think, hey, we should wait to buy simply because rates are going to come down. And I personally think that's not the best strategy. Why? If you buy a home and you're going to purchase this home in today's market, or even last month, I don't want to say today's because now it's getting a lot more competitive, but last month, where rates were on average 6.5, 6.75, plus minus a quarter, depending on, on a 30-year fixed rate loan, just again, depending on a lot of factors, right? You have the opportunity to refinance once rates come back down. You'll refinance the home, but you're not going to overpay, right? Versus before, and I think we're going to have this also in the next couple of months.
It's already happening. We review house and rent in Redmond where I live, right? So we listed 1.5. It's went pending 1.7, million. So we already put 200,000 escalations. We have 20 offers. 1.7, 20 offers. This is how market. And it's right now 6.5. Imagine when rates going to be 5.9. We're going to have not 20 offers, but 30 offers. And you have to do not 200,000 escalations, but maybe 400,000 escalations. So you're going to buy same house at 2 million at 5.9 rate.
So you're overpaying on the home.
I would rather buy it right now 1.7 and
then
6.5
refinance.
And sit quietly as long as you need, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 7.5 months. And when the rate's really low, like 5.5, jump on it. So you're going to have so much flexibility, timing-wise, to refinance this month or maybe 3 months later. But you're going to lock at 1.7 million, not 2 million. So I wouldn't wait, And even last year, May and June was really crazy. We were losing offers, 5-6 offers until we get accepted, and we had to wait financing contingency as well. So no matter what rates was last year, May and June was super busy. We have to waive all the conditions just to buy.
So let me tell you what I've been telling my clients. When everyone that's bought a home that has a higher interest rate, we service our loans that are not jumbo. So like conforming loans, Govy loan programs. So we service those loans. So I tell them, look, when I see your payment shift by $300 a month in interest, we do a refinance. And because we service, they're not going to pay a dime for it. They don't have to pay closing costs. There's no processing
It's
fees.
like free refinancing,
It's we're not rolling anything into the loan. It's at no cost. There's no processing. There's no underwriting. We can waive the cost of an appraisal. There's no escrow fees. Nothing, because we're servicing, and they could refinance a couple of times. So because it's at no cost to them, it makes sense, right? We're going to get the loan here at New American, and then in 3 months, let's say rates come down to where they can save up to $300 a month. We do a no-cost refinance, and they drop their rate. We can do it 3 months later. We can do it again 3 months out. It doesn't matter because they don't have to pay anything for it. Usually,
it's a great product because I know usually you have to wait 6 months if you refinance, you even cannot sell or refinance for 6 months.
Now let me explain that to you.
Unless they get penalty, you know. I know they can, but they're gonna get penalty, right?
So I'll tell you this. I don't even know if I should say this on camera, but I'm gonna say this on camera. On a macro scale, lenders that tell you you have to wait 6 months, you don't. Legally speaking, if I own a home,
they want you to wait, but
they
you
want
don't have
you.
to.
No,
they want you.
Legally, there'll be no penalties. Legally, you can go and refinance a month after. You can go and sell your home a month after, right? Why? Well, it's your house. You own it. Lenders that want you to hold for 6 months, they have what's called a clawback. A clawback means they lose their commissions or they lose money, right? And they get in trouble, they get a slap on the wrist by their company if that, for example, loan gets sold within a 6 month period, right? Now, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. We don't have a clawback here, right? So lenders that are looking to transition to a better company with no clawbacks, one reason why I left my previous company and came over here is because I knew I need to do what's best for my clients. I need to be able to put them in the best financial position. So servicing is huge, and being able, especially in a higher interest rate market.
Do you monitor, like you just explained, like if it goes...
yes.
You monitor yourself, so you can call them and say, hey, I see. Because
my team monitors every single client. Yes.
Nice.
So we monitor...
So it automatically shows up?
Correct. So on our end, we monitor anytime I see massive shifts in the market. I'm able to compare exactly which loans, which clients we've helped, their mortgages. We see everything. Again, we service. And then we have the opportunity to go, look, if I can save them $200-300 a month, I call them and I'm like, hey, right now is the time.
That's very helpful.
And we have this conversation before they even get under contract, which is a big deal. So we know that rates are going to come down this upcoming 2024, right? Yes. The Federal Reserve already announced they're going to do up to 3 rate cuts. Are they going to do one in March? We don't know. But we know they're going to do up to 3. That's already being priced into the bond market. That's already being anticipated by a lot of investors. So we're seeing rates slowly come down already, even though there even hasn't been a rate cut yet, right? But that's already being priced into the markets. That being said, with rates coming down, we know we're going to be busy. I mean, we're going to be slammed with...
That's very nice. Rates going to be lower, but still lower inventory.
Low inventory,
All on our sellers sitting on 2.6, 2.7, 3% mortgage rate.
Yeah.
So maybe they already overgrown this house, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they even moved to different state.
Yeah.
But they cannot psychologically let go with cheap free money, right? 3% mortgage.
Yeah.
So, but I think for 1 year already, people mentally become ready to let it go.
Yeah.
Plus life events happening, people have children, or people unfortunately or fortunately divorced, so they have to sell and move.
Yeah.
So the last year was very low inventory.
Yeah.
Even though rates were high, but there were nothing to choose from, you know? Even I have buyers ready to buy, we couldn't find nothing.
Yeah.
But right now, I think mentally, emotionally, sellers ready to let go the old low rates.
Yeah.
Because they can buy the new house with maybe 5.5%.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And they have the equity.
And they have tremendous amount of equity, everybody has, right?
Yeah, so for those that don't know what equity is a simple term of if I bought my home for, let's say, $500,000 and you resell it 3 or 4 years later, that house, of course, grew up in value. That same home could be worth $700,000. It could be $800,000. Not to mention the fact that you put a down payment when you bought that home. And you're paying your mortgage every single month, so you're paying that house down. So all that additional money is sitting in the house. They could resell it.
It's like your saving account.
Exactly. It's a forced savings account. That's exactly what that is. Talk to me about 2023. What did you see happen last year? Because 2023 was a very interesting year, I think, in real estate and in mortgage.
what happened with my clients and my experience, I would have like probably 10 or 20 more listings, but all these people decided to rent out the houses, right? So, and I helped them to rent out. And people moved to Utah, Texas, New York, and left their houses in Washington State and renting them out just because it financially makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is what's happening. But this year we're going to start selling. So it's going to come up on the market, so we're going to have more inventory.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. People that moved, right? I've had conversations like this last year too. Tara, should we rent our house out? What should we do? If they know they're going to sell the following year, do you think it's good for them to rent out their house or no? Because my opinion is, hey, if you're going to move and you're going to, like, let's say you're going to move, does it make sense to rent it out or to sell right now? Right? Because we know what happens when you do your taxes and you say, this is now my rental property, and they decide to sell. Well, they're going to be subject to capital gain tax. That's a heavy freaking paycheck bill you have to pay to the government, to the IRS, for their capital gains. So a lot of families that were like I knew a couple of personal friends of mine that were like, Terrace, should we sell? Should we not? We want to go here. I'm like, hey, if you want to build a rental portfolio, do it. But if you're going to move simply so that you're going to wait to sell the following year,
and
let's
buy
do
primary residence,
and
right? If you
buy another primary
residence, not investment.
Let's look at the numbers. Because even if you made, let's say you make $50K less selling last year, but you have $600,000 in equity, you're going to pay way more than that in taxes. In short-term
But you know the rules. The rules, you have to live in this house 3 years out of 5 years.
Yep.
So if we're going to rent for 1-2 years, it's okay.
Yeah.
This is where we have to make decision. And
but,
this is actually...
But if it's a rental on your taxes, they're still subject.
Yeah.
Still subject.
But
Only primary.
They did live 3 years out of 5 in this residence, you know?
Yes.
So when they should be avoiding this capital gain.
With the new rule. So in general, the way I like to look at it is if you do one tax return filing and on that filing it's a rental property and then you go out to sell and you're selling a rental and you own a new primary now, that is going to be subject to capital gains tax.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even though you live basically 4 years out of 5.
Second you flip it.
But you have to go talk to CPA.
CPA, yeah. So don't quote me.
And real estate lawyer.
Talk to a real estate attorney. Yeah, exactly. So
I have right now.
I like to play the safe route, right? So safety first. Talk to a CPA. Talk to an attorney. But that's a good way to think of it. If you have a rental property, you're subject to capital gains.
For my clients, I would love them maybe to keep it and make it rental forever.
Yes.
You know, when my people move to California and they're selling, I'm like, why are you selling? Leave it as your rental, and you're going to buy something new in California. Because with selling house here, with this down payment, you're not going to buy anything in California.
Absolutely.
So leave it as a rental, as your investment. Anyway, in California, you're going to rent for maybe 2-3 years before you decide on area, or before even you decide if you want to buy or not. Because we are so lucky with low property taxes in our state. Because this year I visited Texas, I was surprised that taxes were not like 0.9 like we have here, but were 2.5 property taxes. So everybody says, oh, in Texas state we can buy like a mansion for this money. But your monthly payment might be higher than Washington state. Because of the high property taxes and high insurance. You know, it's such a big trick when people move to different state. They think because it's cheaper, and it's not cheaper. And then they want to move back, actually.
Texas. The thing about Texas is you know, military. If you're VA, if you're military, you're exempt. You don't have to pay taxes at all.
Property taxes too? No, I don't know.
Property taxes. You
don't
pay.
It's good for military then.
That's why most military go and move to Texas. Most VA, because you're not subject to any property taxes on real estate that you own. So like I have my brother-in-law. He was in the Air Force, and my sister. They live in Texas right now. They're renting, but they're going to be they want to purchase a home in Texas for that same reason.
So when it's cheap, if they don't pay taxes. But if you're in high tech,
Any other spirit, but just military specifically. That's why a lot of people go over there, because you don't have to pay any taxes if you own a home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's so deceptive, you know.
I
know people who bought in Florida and people who bought in Texas and now regret it, you know.
Absolutely.
Because climate is better here and taxes 2.5 times higher than here, you know. It's just scary.
So I'll tell you this, we personally as a family, we're like, hey, this is during, I like to say, the big exodus, right? When everyone was moving, remember after COVID?
Yeah.
And of course, that thought crossed my mind. My business is here, my family is here. I'm like, hey, what if I did go move to a different state, right? We thought about this. What if I moved? What if we went somewhere else? Is the grass truly greener on the other side? So and we're very close with my in-laws, very close family. Me and all the guys, I mean, I have a ton of brother-in-laws, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. We had like a group of us, and some are in tech, some are in contracting, some are engineers. You know, I'm in finance. We all sat down and we did a ton of research on states. And a couple of states that popped up is North and South Carolina, because they had family there. And I'm like, okay, well, let's fly there. So we flew out there for 3 days. I saw 5 real estate agents. We had meetings with 5 of them, and they showed us properties in the area, locations in the area, and just a ton of research was into it. And Anna, I'll tell you right now, the grass is not always greener on the other side. When we went out there and we were able to experience, we get rain here. They don't get rain there. You have to stop your car on the freeway and pull over when it rains there, because when it rains, it pours. And when it pours, it showers to the point where your windshield wipers can't, you know. So there's a lot of little things that you don't think about. You just say, hey, you get excited, I want to move. Fly there. Go there. Go look at jobs. Go look at how much money people make there, what affordability costs. You know why gas is cheaper in the Carolinas? So for us, it's a lot different, because if I want to go to QFC, if I want to go to, let's say Costco, right? Costco, 10, 15 minutes. QFC is right there. Gas station is right there. It's very close. In the Carolinas, it's different, right? Now, I'm only saying, I'm not bashing on Carolina. It's a beautiful state, great area, great people. It's just different type of lifestyle, and is that lifestyle going to fit you? Out there, everything is so spread out to where if you want to go and drive and do a grocery shopping versus going to
drive for 25 minutes on the freeway,
you have to drive for 45 minutes
on the freeway. And here it's 10 minutes. I'm in Safeway, QFC,
and in
Target,
any location.
Everything.
Yeah. King, Pierce, Helmish County, wherever everything is super compact. Yeah, our population is way higher, and that's why. But there is a lot less driving that we have to do, and you're not killing your day.
So
right?
basically, our gas is cheaper.
Yeah, right.
But about North Carolina, I went there once for vacation, you know. What is a deal killer for me? They have a lot of mosquito and flies during summer. It's humid and you cannot sit. We here enjoy outdoors 12 months, right? Yeah. Maybe it's raining sometimes, but sometimes there's a gorgeous days like yesterday.
Yeah.
So you can sit outside, eat your lunch outside, and in summertime you can lay down on a lake, right? So in Carolina, Virginia, it's a lot of flies and mosquito.
Yeah.
You cannot sit out in a restaurant outside after 6 p.m.
Wow.
They close because they're going to eat you,
yeah.
you know? We already forgot how it's nice. You sit out outside in a restaurant all summer, very pleasant.
Yeah.
Where you cannot sit outside.
I'll tell you this. In South Carolina, I loved Greenville, the city of Greenville. It was a beautiful city. I'm telling you, like here's like Seattle, LA, you're going to have homeless. You're going to have, crazy stuff. That's why I personally... Seattle, I like East Side. I like Bellevue, Kirkland, Issaquah, Redmond. Newcastle area is beautiful. Yeah, Mercer Island's gorgeous. Like, there's a lot of beautiful places to go if you want to avoid, the less fortunate. Like, it's sad. It's sad. A lot of those people are on drugs. Mm-hmm. It's very sad. But in general, on a macro scale, right? Like, there's a lot of places that Greenville is the one place that I really liked. It was super clean, super nice. It was also, there was a hub there. There was a vibe. A lot of new construction, a lot of development. So there are pockets, I think, that are very, very beautiful. But overall, in general, we came to quickly realize, hey, after going there, we only spent 3 days there, but we did massive research before, during. It was almost like a business trip, right? It was. We did a lot of driving, and we quickly realized, hey, look. A lot of people talk about this, because a lot of people talked about the Carolinas, and a lot of people talk about Texas.
I have my clients who moved to Carolina and Texas and Arizona and everything.
So we went there.
We thought it's cheaper, but it's not cheaper.
It's not because the wage difference is also huge. So we quickly realized, like, hey, look, this is probably not going to be the best place for us to even consider. A couple of places that I would love to go visit, not to move, maybe buy a vacation home, is Nashville. You know, like Nashville, the city of music, they say. I'd like to go and visit Nashville, a couple of other places and locations. But I love Washington State, because Washington State, yes, it's expensive, but we get paid well here, right? So that,
and a lot of job opportunities.
There's a ton of opportunities.
And it depends on your mentality. You know, my mentality, don't look ways cheaper, move ways cheaper, like make more money, you know, find ways more opportunity.
Mindset's huge. Mindset is huge.
If your mindset like, I'm gonna move to cheaper state, no, make more money to live in a state with a lot of opportunities. So on the income side, right, you have pricing increases, you have everything going up. My thing about just the whole mindset of money, right, it's like, look, if it's tough for you to live, first off, I'm sorry, it sucks for people to have to budget to the penny very hard, to go up on credit cards. But there has to be time that you delegate, that you set aside for yourself personally, to develop your skills or develop a skill that you may not have, so that you or I or anyone else out there that wants to make more can add more value to the market. The more value you add to the market, the more you get paid. That's it. You add more value, you get paid more. And it's very unfortunate, but in today's day and age, people's attention spans are so low. Like, they can't sit and have a focused conversation, right? Because they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're scrolling through Reels. So if people really have that, nerve that gets to them to where they're like, hey, I need to add more value, I need to make more money. Oftentimes it's, look, you have to unplug from the world. Like, you have to unplug from your social media. You have to unplug from, sometimes it could be friends, it could be family. And you need to really sit down and delegate time every single day to yourself, and force yourself to learn, to grow, and to develop. Once you build up the necessary skills, then you transition over to a new job, or you do what you can to add more value to what you're currently doing. And
right?
I like to learn new things. Like, I'm not just agent, I'm managing broker, and it's very difficult exam. You know, 98% agents, they are just regular brokers. They're not managing brokers. But I love to learn new things, and this is how you do more value for your clients. You know, you take negotiation courses, you take broker's license. You know, always learn something new. You're a member of Realtor, which you have to take classes to be a member there. So, because to be an agent, actually, it's too easy. It's too easy.
It's too easy to get your license.
My son is my assistant. He got licensed. It's too easy. It's 2 months you get licensed.
It's easy to get licensed. It's very difficult to be a realtor.
To build a business. And to add value, like you said, right? So I always study something new. And I love it, you know?
But that's, again, somebody that wants to increase their income, it's just mindset. It's a whole mindset shift. And what I like to do personally is, it's tough, especially, like, I have 3 kids. It's hard to come home after work and unplug and say, okay, now we're going to, I'm going to study, or I'm going to learn, or I want to do X, Y, and Z. So my time that I set for myself every morning is in the morning, or a time that I set for myself. It's every single morning. So I know.
So your 5 a.m. club.
So when everyone's asleep, I have the opportunity to get up in the morning and start sharpening my sword, right? My mental sword. Start sharpening your axe. Start learning, building, creating, seeing, okay, not just analyzing what I'm going to do for the day, but knowing where do I want to be and what kind of skills I have to continue to develop as I'm learning and growing. So it's getting up in the morning for me. And I feel like for most people that are entrepreneurs, that are ultra successful, that are able to build and grow businesses, they have their morning time set aside for them, especially if they have kids. Like, I have little kids. So it would be a disservice to my family to come home and say, okay, I'm off to go and read this business book. No, I can't do that. My boys are going to be on top of me. You know, like I'm going to be holding my daughter in my hands. I can't do that. So I have to delegate that time in the morning. Otherwise,
well, it's self-discipline. If you want to be entrepreneur, you have to have very strong self-discipline, you know.
Absolutely.
It's much more hard to work for yourself and work for big company. Big company already give you structure, right?
Yeah.
And I have to give structure myself, discipline myself, motivate myself, you know. It's easy when your boss motivates you.
Yeah.
But here I have to motivate myself. Like, okay, let's go do more videos.
Yeah.
Let's go 5 more listing appointments.
Yeah.
When I can do nothing, right?
Yeah.
So you have to set up goals for yourself and push yourself, motivate.
Or get into groups. Get a coach. Pay somebody to kick your butt every single day, right? That's a big deal. This is what I think is just super silly. People that run businesses, right? Let's say people that are business owners, oftentimes, because a lot of businesses fail. Anna, you know, there's so many realtors get in and they get out, lenders in, out, insurance in, out. Businesses in general have a huge failure rate. Why? When you have a boss and your boss says, hey, this report is due on this time, you're going to do that report. But unfortunately, people don't value themselves enough, and they don't have, I want to say, that self-respect. When they tell themselves to do something, they don't follow through with themselves, which I think personally is sad. It is so sad. Like if you tell yourself, hey, look, I'm going to do this for the next week, 3 times this week, because I know it's going to help increase my sales or increase my production, then you do it. And if you don't, what happens? It's number 1, demotivating. Number 2, it's in the back of your mind. You're thinking, oh, I should have done this. I should have done this. Because I used to be like that.
It's up all your energy.
Eats up your energy. Yeah. But you lose your self-confidence because you realize that your self-worth, that's exactly what it is. It's worth that you have for yourself. And if you cannot continue to build and develop, most importantly, keep the promises that you make to yourself. That's how you build up that confidence, right? That's how you're able to go and do what you need to do. So that's what really ticks me off is people that are like, hey, you know, this and that. I'm struggling. I want to build, but they don't have that discipline. Not everybody
could be successful, you know, and you.
Not everyone's wired that way.
Yeah, and I believe, like, you know, I was a psychiatrist in Russia, so I believe you're already born with your core personality. You know, 60% it's already your core personality. Yes, you can change it, maybe 20%. Nature versus nurture. But it's already your building personality. You know, so not everybody can be successful. Not everybody a big picture thinker, you know, so, and we need different people. So some people just very comfortable where they are and they don't want to have big goals or something, which is okay too. But my mentality, don't find place where it's cheaper, find ways to make money and find opportunities to get bigger, your bigger dream and do it faster.
Now, if somebody doesn't have big goals, I think that if they're comfortable, it sucks because they die to themselves. It's horrible. That means you're just not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. But if you don't have big goals and aspirations, your family better not be suffering. Like if you have a family and you have a wife and you have kids, you better be on a budget. You've got to be saving. You've got to be thinking, what can I do to put my family into the best financial position possible, the best, spiritual position possible. So you put yourself in a good physical position to where you're taking care of your body. You have to be able to be that head of the family that puts your family onto the right path. If not, you're cheating on your family.
I know.
That's how I see it. So if somebody has a family, like it's one thing if you're single.
Basically.
And
yourself.
And yourself, But it's sad because a lot of people sell their spouses on dreams. And a lot of people sell their aspirations on a dream, and then they get into the cosmos of life, which is fine. It happens, right? Like you have your ups and you have your downs. But if you have a family, let alone if you have kids, you better be working. And you've got to be putting in it. And again, it's not about what I want, right? Because we as human beings, right, are lazy. We're pretty lazy as people,
I know.
Right?
And our brain and body try to find the least uncomfortable position.
Exactly, least resistance. It's brutal, but if you have a family, again, you need to do whatever you can to put them into the best position possible. Now, if you don't have big goals and dreams, because I like to say maybe you're part of the lucky sperm club, right? You were born rich. Okay, you know, it is what it is. But if you're struggling to pay your bills, if your car breaks down and you have to bus it, or you have to share a car with your spouse because it's extremely tight and difficult, and you have something maybe, you know, that needs to be fixed that you don't have the finances for, work and build up that skill. You have to, because then it helps you, it helps your family, it helps your future generation, and your kids are watching you. It's crazy, Anna. Like, I'll be talking to my wife, we'll spend time with each other, and it's crazy how kids, they hear and they see everything. Everything. So it's like they're not going to do what you tell them. They're going to watch and do what you do. So in order for me to teach my kids even simple things like you have to say please and thank you, говори пожалуйста, говори спасибо, right? If I have to tell my kids that, I'll tell them, but I have to implement that into our daily life.
And you have if you tell them brush your teeth twice, you have to go brush your teeth twice.
You go and you pick up a tooth and you brush your teeth and you say, come with Papa.
And you know what's later? I'm a little bit older than you, so you know what's going to happen later. Whatever you're telling them right now, even they don't listen or they don't do it, you said brush your teeth, like put on warm jacket, they even don't listen. But this is your voice going to become their inner voice. In the rest of their life. So I'm considering it, I'm not telling it to my kids, I'm telling it to my grandkids. Because this is what they gonna tell to my grandkids. Go brush your teeth, go do homework, go gonna be active, you know, build strong body. So this is what, even if my kids don't listen, it's they memorize it subconsciously, and this is by default. They're gonna tell to my grandkids. And that's good enough for me. Exactly.
That's beautiful. So again, if you have children and you don't have big aspirations because you're rich, that's one thing. But if you have kids and there's still things in life that you need to accomplish to put your family into a good position, work. I say work, and work on yourself. That's the number one thing that you can do to improve your income, is increase yourself, build it up yourself. That way you can add more value to the market, and you're able to make more money, which puts your family into a better position, a better home, a better school district, and overall a better lifestyle. And it's discipline. You have to die to yourself, right? The things that we want oftentimes are not the best things, right? Oftentimes it's not in general, like, I'm a Christian, right? I love Jesus, and I know that we're all sinners. We're all born with sin in us. And we always want to take, like you said, the easy way out. We always want to do things in life that are oftentimes not the best for us, maybe not the best decisions. But that being said, if it's at a cost to you, that sucks. If it's a cost to your family, like, you're going to answer for that either now or in the future when your kids grow up, because that's a sad thing to see. So I'm huge on developing yourself, building, growing, do whatever you can to add that value.
And as a real estate agent, if I don't develop my real estate portfolio, you know, if I don't buy real estate myself and invest correctly, what can I recommend to my buyers, you know, because I have to give them good recommendation. And that could come only from my experience. So if I'm not successful, if I'm not buying real estate for myself, and I'm not investing, how I can recommend them what I didn't experience myself? You know, even though I sold more than hundreds and hundreds houses, right? But you have to sell and buy yourself to experience it emotionally as it your deal, not for somebody. Plus, you know how I said, you don't make money by selling real estate, you're making money by buying real estate.
Absolutely.
So I'm a believer to build up wealth. You know, you have to buy and hold real estate and rent it out or do whatever you do, 1031 exchange later to build up your portfolio, and this is how you build wealth. So you have something to live for your kids or even for you, enjoying on retirement, enjoying peaceful retirement. And what I think American dream is not a dream home. American dream is when your passive income more than your monthly expenses. That's American dream. So if you want to, for example, if you want to go 3 months vacation, you can go easily and you don't need to worry, how am I going to pay my bills? So you have to build this passive income. And of course, you can build a different way. Somebody lucky with crypto, somebody invested stocks, bonds, you know, but invest in real estate. it's less risky, I would say. It's less risky, more stable, right?
More work, but less risky.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, more headache maybe. Your tenant's gonna give you headache. You're gonna have all kind of problems. You have to find good tenants, and you have to update houses, renovate them sometimes. But it's eventually it's a piece of land, right?
Yeah.
It's not like your stocks or crypto, which can just disappear one day.
Yeah.
Piece of land always gonna be a house on a piece of land.
So let me ask you this. This is the last thing that I want to talk about in today's show, because I know you're going to come on again. Absolutely. About wealth. Let's say there's a family that's like, hey, look, we have our home. They own a home, so they're past that goal. And they're, maybe they're not living paycheck to paycheck, but they're setting a little bit of money aside. Let's say they have $15,000, $20,000. It's not enough for a down payment on a house or on investment property. And they're like, where should I park my money? Like, we know that the Fed's printing a lot of, they've been printing. We know that the dollar has lost up to 40% of its value.
Inflation is crazy.
Inflation's crazy. So you don't want to hold the dollar because you're losing money.
You have to invest.
Where would you park your money, let's say, over the next year to 2 years? Right? Where would you, just for it to hold its value for one? Let's do short term, because long term, there's a lot of things that you can do. But short term, like, hey, look, I don't want to lose my money. Where would you park it?
Well, you probably have better answer than me. What I would do for myself or recommend for somebody who has 20, 35K, you know, first of all, put on your retirement plan as soon as much as you can to reduce your taxation, right? To go on a different tax bracket, right? So if it's tax deduction, if you're not max out on your tax deduction, put it towards so you pay less taxes and saving this money. And me personally, I buy like long-term government bonds, right? Which was successful for me. I know it's not risky enough. It's kind of conservative investment, but it's always growing. Yeah. And it's grew almost twice, Yeah. Or almost double, right? So I don't know. You probably have better answer. Tell me what to do. Tell me my secret.
No, everyone has their own, I think, strategy, right? So I think I'm in a different position, right? Slightly. On a macro scale, I'm not interested in too much anymore in the stock market because I know the S&P hit its all-time high. So it's like, I know that that's not going to help me build short-term wealth, right? So on a macro scale, right, it's first off what every family should do is figure out their budget. Is look, this is my survival number, which is not just your mortgage payment. It's what do I pay every single month on gas, on food, and that's, you got to figure that out. You need to write it down, save your receipts, look at your credit card statements, all that. I would say step one is to make sure you have no debt other than a mortgage. So no car loans, no credit cards, pay all that off. You don't want to be paying a 22% interest rate. That's stupid. That's silly, right? So you pay that off. Car loans too. Pay off your car loans. You should own your cars free and clear. Once you have your debts paid off, and let's say you have your home, once you figure out also what that survival number is, hey, this is what it takes, set 3 months aside of that. At least 3.
Of course, at least 3. You have to save
at
6
least,
months.
At least,
so
3 to 6
peace
months.
Of mind.
Yeah, so you have that. But let's say you're there, right? You have 3, 4, 5 months.
So you took care of all this. Your car's paid off. You maxed on your retirement.
Exactly. So then where do you hold your money? A lot of people talk about holding a security, which I think is fine. I mean, like, what's that, like a tangible security? Like, if you can't buy real estate, people buy gold and silver, coins and stuff like that. So that's people could do that. I'm very bullish on crypto. Very bullish.
But you buy crypto after you buy your house primary residence, when you buy your investment, when you pay off your cars, when you pay off your credit card, when you have saving, like 6 months reserve, when you buy crypto.
You put your family into a position to where you're safe, so you're completely secure. And then I like to put my money into investments where, like, I'll tell you, if I lose what I put in, I'll sleep like a baby. It won't matter to me,
exactly,
right? So
you have to be at this position.
But it's very volatile. Like, literally, it can go. Your assets can go up. Your assets could go down.
And you have to be calm.
Anyways, friends, Anna, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, my pleasure, Taras.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you on again. We will have your number and your contacts on the screen after this. If you guys have any questions on real estate, Eastside, really King County, King, Pierce, Snohomish, Anna's going to be a phenomenal contact for you. She'll be able to help guide you through the process and educate you on exactly what it looks like and if it's the right time.
Call me with any questions. I'm always more than happy to answer. I would be super excited to talk on the phone.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Take care.